The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, 2012, takes us on a thrilling and emotionally charged journey, wrapping up the saga of love, sacrifice, and supernatural drama that has captivated audiences around the globe. Hello, friends! If you're curious about this epic conclusion to the Twilight Saga, you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to give this video a quick like, it really helps us out. And if you're new here, hit subscribe to stay updated on all the latest movie deep dives. Let's jump right in. As the fifth and final installment in the Twilight series, Breaking Dawn Part 2 carries the weight of an entire saga on its shoulders, and it delivers with an exhilarating blend of romance, action, and shocking twists. Fans of the series had waited for this moment, the culmination of Bella and Edward's extraordinary love story, and director Bill Condon masterfully brings it to life in a way that leaves audiences breathless. With its mesmerizing visuals, intense emotional beats, and a jaw-dropping climax, this movie is a fitting finale to one of the most iconic film franchises of its era. The movie begins with Bella Swan awakening to her new life as a vampire. After the life-altering events of the previous installment, Bella has finally joined Edward in immortality. The transformation is striking. Her human fragility has been replaced by supernatural strength, speed, and an instinctual thirst for blood. Kristen Stewart's portrayal of Bella's transition is nothing short of remarkable, as she navigates the nuances of her character's newfound confidence and power. For fans who have followed Bella's journey from the shy, clumsy teenager in Twilight to the fierce and determined protector in Breaking Dawn Part 2, this transformation is deeply satisfying. But Bella's transformation is only the beginning. The birth of Renesmee, Bella and Edward's half-vampire, half-human daughter, introduces an entirely new layer of complexity to the story. Renesmee is unlike any child the vampire world has ever seen. Her rapid growth and unique ability to share her memories through touch make her a source of wonder and danger. As Bella bonds with her daughter, her maternal instincts become a driving force in the story. The family dynamic between Bella, Edward, and Renesmee is beautifully portrayed, and it adds a deeply emotional core to the film. However, Renesmee's existence does not go unnoticed. Word spreads to the Volturi, the ruling coven of the vampire world, and they misinterpret her as an immortal child, a dangerous and forbidden creation that threatens the secrecy of their kind. The Volturi, led by the cunning and sinister Arrow, are relentless in their pursuit of justice, and they set their sights on the Cullens. This looming threat sets the stage for the movie's central conflict, as the Cullens must prepare to defend their family at all costs. What follows is a race against time. The Cullens embark on a mission to gather allies from around the world, seeking to prove Renesmee's innocence and stand against the Volturi's wrath. This journey introduces audiences to a diverse array of vampire covens, each with their own unique abilities and histories. From the steadfast Denali coven to the enigmatic nomads and the fierce Amazonian vampires, the film expands the scope of the Twilight universe, offering a glimpse into the rich and varied world of vampires beyond Forks. The preparations for the impending confrontation are infused with tension and anticipation. Bella discovers her own extraordinary power, a mental shield that can protect herself and others from psychic attacks. This ability becomes a key element in the story, as she trains to master it under the guidance of Eleazar, a former Volturi member turned ally. Bella's journey of self-discovery and empowerment is a testament to her growth as a character, and it resonates deeply with the audience. Meanwhile, Jacob Black, Bella's loyal friend and a werewolf from the Quileute tribe, plays a pivotal role in the story. His bond with Renesmee, forged through the phenomenon of imprinting, is a source of both humor and tension. Taylor Lautner's portrayal of Jacob adds depth to the narrative, as he navigates the complexities of his relationship with Bella and his newfound role in her family. The dynamic between Jacob and Edward is particularly compelling, as their mutual love for Bella and Renesmee creates an uneasy yet heartfelt alliance. As the Cullens' allies gather, the tension reaches a boiling point. The film builds toward its climactic showdown with masterful pacing, interweaving moments of humor, warmth, and introspection with the ever-present threat of the Volturi. The snow-covered battlefield becomes a symbol of the stakes at hand, a place where love and loyalty will be tested, and where the fate of the Cullens will be decided when the Volturi finally arrive. Their imposing presence sends chills down the spine. Michael Sheen's portrayal of Arrow is delightfully sinister, as he balances calculated menace with a disarming charm. The confrontation is electrifying, as the Cullens and their allies stand united against the seemingly insurmountable force of the Volturi. The tension is palpable, and the stakes have never felt higher. And then, the unthinkable happens. In a bold and unexpected twist, the film departs from Stephenie Meyer's source material, delivering a jaw-dropping battle sequence that leaves audiences reeling. Beloved characters meet their fates in a whirlwind of chaos and heartbreak, and the snowy battlefield becomes a scene of devastation. The visceral intensity of the battle pulls viewers to the edge of their seats, creating an unforgettable cinematic experience. But just as the dust settles, the twist is revealed. The battle was a vision shown by Alice, the Cullens' clairvoyant ally, to Arrow. This revelation shifts the narrative in an instant, emphasizing the power of foresight and diplomacy over violence. The Volturi, faced with the devastating consequences of their actions, retreat, leaving the Cullens in peace. The film's resolution is both triumphant and bittersweet. Bella and Edward's love story comes full circle as they embrace their eternal life together with their daughter. The final moments of the movie are a poignant tribute to the journey that began with Twilight, as a montage of memories from the entire saga plays out on screen. The world around her is different, more vibrant, more alive. Every sound, every scent, every detail of her surroundings is magnified. The transformation is as breathtaking for the audience as it is for Bella herself, setting the stage for the film's dramatic unfolding. Edward is by her side, his expression a mixture of pride and relief. He guides her as she adjusts to her heightened senses, carefully explaining the challenges and instincts that come with her new existence. Their bond feels stronger than ever, forged in the fires of love and sacrifice. The connection between them is palpable, a central thread that will anchor the story as the stakes rise. It isn't long before Bella meets her daughter, Renesmee, for the first time since her transformation. The moment is both tender and extraordinary. Renesmee is no ordinary child. Her unique heritage as half-human, half-vampire is immediately apparent. She grows at an accelerated rate, her development astonishingly advanced for her age. Her ability to share her thoughts and memories through touch adds a layer of mystique to her character. Bella's maternal instincts emerge fiercely, and her love for Renesmee becomes a driving force in her new life. But the joy of their reunion is soon shadowed by the looming threat of discovery. Irina, a member of the Denali Coven, mistakenly believes Renesmee to be an immortal child, a forbidden creation in the vampire world. Immortal children, frozen in time as young beings, are considered a grave danger, their inability to mature leading to chaos and exposure of the vampire secret. Irina's report to the Volturi sets a chain of events into motion that will place the Cullen family in grave danger. As word of the Volturi's impending arrival spreads, the Cullens realize they must prepare for a confrontation. The Volturi are the ultimate authority in the vampire world, and their judgment is swift and merciless. The Cullens know that without proof of Renesmee's innocence, they will not survive the Volturi's wrath. What follows is a desperate and urgent quest to gather allies from across the globe. The Cullens begin reaching out to vampires from different covens, seeking their support as witnesses. The Denali Coven, despite their initial skepticism, eventually stands by the Cullens. Their loyalty is deeply rooted in their shared history, and their presence is a source of strength. Meanwhile, vampires from Egypt, Ireland, and the Amazon arrive, each bringing their own unique abilities to the gathering. The diversity of these characters adds richness to the story, offering glimpses into the wider world of vampires and their varied cultures. Bella, too, undergoes her own journey of discovery. As she trains to control her newfound powers, she realizes she possesses a rare ability, a mental shield that protects her and those around her from psychic attacks. This revelation is a turning point, as it positions Bella as a key player in the fight against the Volturi. Her determination to master her gift becomes a powerful narrative thread, highlighting her evolution from a passive bystander to a formidable protector. While the vampires prepare for the Volturi's arrival, Jacob's role in the story takes on new significance. His bond with Renesmee, formed through the phenomenon of imprinting, is a source of both tension and humor. Though the concept of imprinting is controversial and complex, it serves to deepen Jacob's connection to the Cullen family. His unwavering loyalty and fierce protectiveness make him an essential ally. The interactions between Jacob and Edward, once fraught with rivalry, now carry a sense of mutual respect and shared purpose. As the days pass, the tension builds. The Cullens and their allies train tirelessly, honing their abilities and strategizing for the confrontation that seems inevitable. The snowy landscape of Forks becomes a backdrop for their preparations, its stillness a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within the characters. Each scene is charged with anticipation, as the audience is drawn deeper into the intricate web of alliances and uncertainties. Amidst the preparations, moments of warmth and levity emerge. Alice and Jasper, ever the enigmatic duo, provide glimpses of hope and lightness. Alice's visions of the future are both a guiding force and a source of suspense, as the fate of the Cullens hangs in the balance. The camaraderie among the gathered vampires is a testament to the strength of their cause, and their unity becomes a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. But the Volturi are not the only threat. The Cullens must also navigate the fragile dynamics within their own ranks. The arrival of the various covens brings with it a clash of personalities and philosophies. Tensions rise as the group grapples with the weight of their shared responsibility. These moments of conflict and resolution add depth to the narrative, showcasing the complexities of alliances forged in times of crisis. As the Volturi's arrival draws closer, Bella takes steps to ensure her family's safety. She pens letters to Renesmee, pouring her love and wisdom onto the pages in case the worst should happen. The act is a poignant reminder of the stakes at play and the sacrifices Bella is willing to make for her daughter. It's a moment that resonates deeply, underscoring the film's themes of love, resilience, and selflessness. The first half of the story unfolds with a sense of urgency and anticipation, each scene building toward the inevitable confrontation with the Volturi. The characters are pushed to their limits, their bonds tested and their resolve strengthened. As the Cullens and their allies stand united, the stage is set for a clash that will determine their fate. The tension is palpable, the stakes higher than ever, and the audience is left on the edge of their seats, eager to see what comes next. The snow-covered field stretches endlessly, its pristine white surface betraying nothing of the storm that's about to erupt. The Cullens, their allies, and the wolves form a united front, an impressive yet sobering sight as they wait for the Volturi's arrival. The silence is heavy, every breath visible in the cold air, every glance exchanged charged with unspoken fears and determination. The audience feels the weight of the moment, the culmination of every decision, sacrifice, and bond that has brought the characters to this point. When the Volturi finally emerge from the mist, they are as imposing and intimidating as ever. Arrow, their enigmatic and calculating leader, leads the procession with a veneer of politeness that barely conceals his hunger for power. Beside him stand Caius and Marcus, each embodying a distinct kind of menace. Their guard flanks them, a sea of crimson eyes that seem to pierce through the very souls of those standing against them. The contrast between the warmth of the Cullen family and the cold detachment of the Volturi is striking, a visual representation of the opposing forces that define the conflict. Arrow's demeanor is as unnerving as it is compelling. He approaches the situation with a feigned air of diplomacy, his voice smooth and melodic as he addresses Carlyle. The dialogue between them is a masterclass in tension, each word layered with subtext and veiled threats. Arrow's fascination with Renesmee is evident, and while he pretends to be open to understanding, his true intentions are clear. He wants control, and he will stop at nothing to secure it. The introduction of Renesmee to the Volturi is a pivotal moment. Bella, Edward, and Jacob stand protectively around her as she uses her unique gift to communicate her innocence. The scene is both mesmerizing and nerve-wracking, as Renesmee's ability is unlike anything the Volturi have encountered before. Arrow is captivated, but his interest only deepens the danger. His desire to claim Renesmee for the Volturi is palpable, and his fixation sets the stage for the conflict to escalate. As tension reaches a boiling point, Alice and Jasper make a dramatic return, their sudden arrival sending a ripple of hope through the gathered allies. Alice, always a step ahead, has a plan. She presents Arrow with a vision of the future, one that unfolds in stunning detail for both the characters and the audience. The vision reveals the catastrophic consequences of a battle between the Cullens and the Volturi, showcasing the devastating losses on both sides. It is a chilling glimpse into what could be, and it forces Arrow to reconsider his course of action. The vision's intensity is matched only by the emotional weight it carries. The audience sees beloved characters fall in the heat of battle, their sacrifices underscoring the high stakes of the conflict. While the vision ultimately serves to avert disaster, its impact lingers, a haunting reminder of what might have been. The sequence is a testament to the power of foresight and the delicate balance between choice and destiny. Despite the resolution offered by Alice's vision, Arrow's reluctance to yield persists. The Volturi's thirst for power and their deeply ingrained fear of anything that challenges their authority make them a formidable foe. The Cullens and their allies stand firm, their unity and conviction a stark contrast to the Volturi's calculated cruelty. It's a clash of ideologies as much as it is a battle for survival, with the future of vampire kind hanging in the balance. Bella's role in the confrontation is pivotal. Her mental shield proves to be an invaluable asset, protecting her loved ones from the psychic attacks of the Volturi's guard. The scene in which she expands her shield to encompass her allies is a powerful moment, one that showcases her growth and determination. Bella's transformation from a fragile human to a fierce protector is complete, and her unwavering resolve becomes a beacon of hope. As the confrontation reaches its climax, the tension is nearly unbearable. The dialogue crackles with intensity, each character's motivations and fears laid bare. Arrow's eventual decision to retreat is a moment of triumph, albeit one tempered by the knowledge that the peace is fragile. The Cullens and their allies have won the day, but the shadow of the Volturi looms large, a reminder that the fight for freedom and justice is never truly over. In the aftermath of the confrontation, the bonds between the characters are stronger than ever. The shared experience of facing such overwhelming odds has forged unbreakable connections. The gathered allies bid farewell, each returning to their respective covens with a renewed sense of purpose. The parting is bittersweet, a moment of gratitude and hope tempered by the uncertainty of what lies ahead. Bella and Edward's reunion with Renesmee is a poignant reminder of what they've been fighting for. Their love for their daughter, and for each other, has been the driving force behind every decision and sacrifice. As they stand together as a family, the audience is reminded of the power of love and the lengths to which we will go to protect those we hold dear. The film concludes with a quiet, intimate moment between Bella and Edward. In a beautiful callback to their journey, Bella lowers her shield for the first time, allowing Edward to see into her thoughts. The gesture is a culmination of their love story, a moment of vulnerability and connection that encapsulates the depth of their bond. The montage of their memories, set against the backdrop of Carter Burwell's evocative score, is a fitting tribute to their journey and a reminder of how far they've come. As the credits roll, the audience is left with a sense of closure and reflection. The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is not just the conclusion of a series. It's a celebration of love, family, and the strength that comes from unity. The film's themes resonate long after the screen goes dark, a testament to its enduring impact on fans and its place in cinematic history. The characters of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 2 each bring something unique to the story, shaping its emotional depth, themes, and conflicts. The narrative thrives on the complexities of these individuals, their growth, relationships, and the challenges they face. At its heart, the story is about love, sacrifice, and unity, and each character contributes to these themes in their own distinct way. Bella Swan, now Bella Cullen, undergoes the most dramatic transformation in the saga. As a newborn vampire, Bella steps into a power and confidence that had only been hinted at in earlier films. Gone is the clumsy, uncertain human girl who often doubted her own worth. In her place stands a fierce and capable protector, a woman who has finally found her place in the world. Her maternal instincts toward Renesmee are a driving force in this film, shaping many of her decisions. The audience witnesses her newfound strength as she embraces her physical abilities, learns to hunt, and masters her mental shield, a gift that becomes instrumental in the climactic confrontation. Bella's evolution is a testament to her resilience and adaptability, as she proves she is not just a damsel in distress but a key player in protecting her family. Edward Cullen, the eternally brooding and deeply devoted vampire, also finds himself in a new role. As a father, his love for Renesmee reveals a tender, protective side that adds another layer to his character. Edward's relationship with Bella matures as they face challenges together, solidifying their bond as equals. His sharp intellect and strategic thinking come into play during the Volturi conflict, where he balances his fiery love for his family with the cold logic required to navigate such a dangerous situation. Edward's growth is subtle but significant. He is no longer just the romantic lead but a multifaceted individual with responsibilities and vulnerabilities. Renesmee Cullen, the unique child born of a human and a vampire, is the catalyst for much of the film's conflict. Her existence challenges the Volturi's laws, making her both a target and a symbol of hope. Despite her young age, Renesmee exudes an otherworldly grace, her innocence and intelligence captivating everyone around her. Her ability to communicate through her touch becomes a bridge between worlds, helping to prove her innocence to the Volturi. Renesmee's character represents the future, a blending of two worlds that many thought incompatible. She is the heart of the story, the reason for the Cullens' unity and the alliances they forge. Jacob Black, ever the loyal and fiery protector, experiences a significant shift in his role. His bond with Renesmee through imprinting places him in an unexpected position, no longer just Bella's unrequited admirer but an essential part of her family. This transformation allows Jacob to grow beyond his earlier angst and rivalry with Edward, embracing a more mature and purposeful identity. His relationship with Renesmee is pure and protective, devoid of the romantic tension that once defined his interactions with Bella. Jacob's leadership among the wolves and his willingness to stand against the Volturi show his unwavering loyalty and courage, making him an indispensable ally. The Cullens as a family unit take center stage in this film, with each member contributing to the story's emotional and strategic depth. Carlisle Cullen, the compassionate patriarch, is a symbol of diplomacy and reason. His decision to gather witnesses from around the world highlights his belief in unity and the strength of alliances. Esme Cullen, the nurturing matriarch, provides quiet but unwavering support, embodying the warmth and love that define the family. Alice and Jasper's return during the climactic moments adds a layer of hope and strategy, with Alice's visions playing a crucial role in averting disaster. Rosalie Hale, often seen as aloof and self-interested, reveals her softer side through her affection for Renesmee. Her fierce protectiveness stems from her own unfulfilled longing for a child, making her bond with Renesmee deeply personal. Emmett Cullen provides much-needed levity with his humor and confidence, but he is also a formidable fighter when the need arises. Each Cullen brings their strengths to the table, showcasing the power of family and teamwork. The Volturi, as antagonists, are a study in power dynamics and fear. Arrow, their leader, is a master manipulator, his charm masking his ruthless ambition. His fascination with unique abilities, particularly those of Bella and Renesmee, drives much of the tension in the story. Caius and Marcus, though less vocal, add to the Volturi's menace with their stoic and calculating presence. The Volturi Guard, including Jane and Alec with their terrifying powers, are a constant reminder of the danger the Cullens face. Yet, the Volturi's ultimate retreat reveals cracks in their facade of invincibility, showing that even the most powerful can be outmaneuvered. The allies the Cullens gather from around the globe add richness and diversity to the story. Each coven brings unique abilities and perspectives, from Zephrina's awe-inspiring visual projections to Kate's electric shocks. These characters highlight the global reach of the conflict and the unity that can arise in the face of a common threat. Their willingness to stand with the Cullens, despite the risks, underscores the themes of loyalty and courage. One cannot overlook the role of the wolves in the story. The Quileute pack, led by Sam and supported by Jacob, embodies strength and unity. Their alliance with the Cullens, once unthinkable, represents a breaking down of barriers and prejudices. The wolves are not just allies but family, their bond with the Cullens deepened by their shared goal of protecting Renesmee. The wolves' presence adds a primal earthy element to the story, balancing the ethereal elegance of the vampires. The minor characters, too, leave a lasting impact. Charlie Swan, Bella's human father, provides a grounding presence amidst the supernatural chaos. His acceptance of Renesmee and his subtle understanding of Bella's new life reflect his quiet strength and love. Though he is kept in the dark about many details, Charlie's interactions with Bella and Jacob are filled with warmth and understated humor, offering moments of respite in the tension-filled narrative. The characters of Breaking Dawn, Part 2 are intricately woven into the fabric of the story, each playing a role in its emotional and thematic resonance. Their growth, relationships, and individual journeys make the film more than just a tale of supernatural conflict. It is a story about family, love, and the choices that define us. As the saga comes to a close, the characters leave an indelible mark, their arcs a testament to the enduring power of connection and the strength that comes from standing together against all odds. The production of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, was as extraordinary and unique as the movie itself. Behind the glimmering vampires and the fantastical settings lay a trove of unusual stories, strange occurrences, and fascinating facts that bring an entirely new dimension to the film. These behind-the-scenes moments highlight the creativity, quirks, and unexpected challenges that went into making this iconic finale come alive. Let's take a deeper dive into the strangest and most fascinating aspects of the movie's creation. To start, one of the most talked-about elements of Breaking Dawn Part 2 is the peculiar challenge of bringing Renesmee, the half-human, half-vampire child, to life on screen. Initially, the filmmakers attempted to use an animatronic baby, lovingly nicknamed Chucksmee by the cast and crew. This eerie doll, with its oversized eyes and unsettling expression, was intended to portray Renesmee during her infant stages. However, its creepy appearance quickly became infamous on set. Even director Bill Condon admitted that the doll was a horror show, and it ultimately had to be scrapped in favor of CGI. The decision to replace the animatronic baby with digital effects was a relief for everyone involved, but Chucksmee still became a memorable and unsettling piece of Twilight lore. Another strange yet fascinating aspect of the film's production was the use of advanced technology to age Mackenzie Foy, who played Renesmee, across her character's rapid growth. Since Renesmee ages at an accelerated rate, the filmmakers needed to create a believable transformation from infant to a young girl with mature features. They employed a combination of motion capture, facial scanning, and digital aging techniques. Mackenzie Foy's face was scanned at various angles, and her features were digitally mapped onto younger and older actors to portray Renesmee at different stages of her life. This cutting-edge technology was groundbreaking for the time and added an extra layer of complexity to the production. The filming of the climactic battle scene was also filled with unusual occurrences and creative challenges. The scene, which takes place in a vast snowy landscape, was not actually shot on location in the snow. Instead, the entire sequence was filmed on a soundstage in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where temperatures were far from wintry. To create the illusion of a snowy battlefield, the production team used an impressive amount of fake snow, which was carefully crafted to look realistic on camera. The actors, dressed in heavy winter costumes, had to endure the heat while pretending to shiver in the cold. This contrast between the on-screen chill and the actual heat of the set became a running joke among the cast. Speaking of the battle scene, one of the strangest and most surprising moments during production was the filming of Alice Cullen's Vision. In the movie, the Vision depicts a brutal and shocking battle where several beloved characters meet their end. This twist was kept secret from most of the cast, and the actors playing the characters involved in the Vision had to film their death scenes without revealing the true purpose of the sequence. Another intriguing behind-the-scenes detail involves the wolf pack and their transformation sequences. The visual effects team faced the monumental task of creating realistic werewolves that seamlessly transitioned from human form to their wolf counterparts. To achieve this, they used state-of-the-art motion capture technology, with the actors performing their movements in tight-fitting suits covered in reflective markers. These movements were then translated into the digital models of the wolves. Additionally, the animators paid close attention to the wolves' facial expressions and body language, ensuring that each wolf retained the unique characteristics of the character they represented. The bond between the cast members was another aspect of the production that gave rise to some fascinating anecdotes. For instance, Taylor Lautner, who played Jacob Black, had a unique relationship with Mackenzie Foy, who was much younger than the rest of the cast. To make her feel comfortable on set, Lautner would often joke around with her and even give her piggyback rides between takes. This camaraderie extended to the entire cast, who frequently played pranks on each other to lighten the mood during long shooting days. One of the most infamous pranks involved Peter Facinelli, who played Carlisle Cullen, swapping out the prop blood with a less appetizing alternative during a feeding scene, much to the dismay of his co-stars. The film's attention to detail extended to its costumes and makeup, which were meticulously crafted to reflect the unique traits of each character. For the vampires, achieving the perfect pale complexion and glowing skin required hours in the makeup chair. The makeup team used a special powder that gave the actors' skin a luminous quality under the lights. However, this makeup was notoriously difficult to remove, leading to several cast members jokingly referring to themselves as the Twilight Saga. Breaking Dawn Part 2 is the cinematic culmination of a franchise that has captivated millions. From a critical perspective, the film represents both an evolution in storytelling and an ambitious approach to balancing the fantastical elements of its narrative with deeply emotional undercurrents. Each event is intricately tied to the larger themes of identity, family, and sacrifice, creating a rich tapestry of moments that resonate profoundly with its audience. Breaking down the most significant events in the movie offers a deeper understanding of its impact, as well as the thematic and emotional resonance it achieved. One of the film's most defining moments is Bella's transformation into a vampire. From a critical standpoint, this event isn't just a physical metamorphosis, it's a symbolic culmination of her journey throughout the series. Bella, who began as a human teetering on the edge of two worlds, finally claims her place within the Cullen family and the supernatural realm. The moment she opens her red eyes for the first time is monumental. It represents the fulfillment of her desire for eternal love with Edward, but it also signifies her rebirth as a powerful and independent being. Critics often debate the subtext here. Is Bella's transformation a loss of her humanity, or is it an empowerment narrative? The film seems to lean toward the latter, presenting Bella's vampire state as one that amplifies her strengths and gives her agency in ways she never had before. The introduction of Renesmee as a half-human, half-vampire child is another event ripe for analysis. Renesmee represents the union of two seemingly incompatible worlds, a metaphorical bridge between humanity and the supernatural. This narrative device deepens the film's exploration of family, legacy, and belonging. Renesmee's very existence challenges the Volturi's rigid laws, serving as a catalyst for the central conflict. From a critical perspective, her character embodies the series' overarching theme of love transcending boundaries, whether they be species, societal expectations, or the laws of nature. The way the film portrays Renesmee's rapid growth also highlights the fragility and fleeting nature of childhood, underscoring the sacrifices made by her parents to protect her. The Volturi's arrival and the subsequent climactic confrontation are perhaps the most visually and emotionally striking sequences in the film. This event is not just a battle of strength but a clash of ideologies. The Volturi, with their rigid adherence to tradition and power, stand in stark contrast to the Cullens and their allies, who represent diversity and the strength found in unity. The moment Alice steps forward to reveal her vision of the battle is a masterstroke in narrative tension. The shocking imagery of beloved characters dying, Carlisle's decapitation, Jasper's fall, and others, creates an emotional gut punch that leaves the audience reeling. From a critical perspective, this twist reflects the power of storytelling and its ability to manipulate expectations. By making the battle a vision rather than a reality, the film subverts the traditional climactic death toll while still delivering an emotionally charged sequence. Alice's vision also carries significant thematic weight. It underscores the importance of foresight, trust, and nonviolent resolution. While the battle scene is heart-pounding and visceral, it ultimately serves as a reminder of what could happen if conflict prevails over understanding. By averting the bloodshed, the Cullens demonstrate a commitment to peace and the belief that dialogue can triumph over violence, a message that resonates beyond the supernatural context of the film. Another critical moment is Bella's use of her newfound vampire powers, particularly her mental shield. This ability is not only pivotal to the plot but also symbolic of Bella's inner strength and growth. Throughout the series, Bella is portrayed as someone who often needs protection, whether from Edward, Jacob, or the supernatural threats around her. However, in Breaking Dawn Part 2, she becomes the protector. Her shield, which she learns to expand and strengthen, is both a literal and figurative manifestation of her resolve to defend her loved ones. This shift in dynamics, where Bella takes on the role of savior rather than the one being saved, marks a significant evolution in her character and challenges the earlier criticisms of her passivity. The global assembly of vampires who come to stand with the Cullens is another event worth examining. Each coven brings its own history, powers, and perspectives, enriching the narrative and broadening the scope of the Twilight universe. From the nomadic American vampires to the regal Egyptian coven, these characters add layers of depth to the story. The film uses their diverse backgrounds to highlight the universal themes of loyalty, family, and the willingness to fight for what's right. The Denali coven, for instance, adds a layer of emotional depth with their grief over Irina's loss and their ultimate decision to join the Cullens in their stand against the Volturi. This unity among such varied groups reinforces the idea that strength lies in diversity, a message that feels particularly resonant in today's world. From a cinematic perspective, the choice to depict these significant events with a mix of grand spectacle and intimate moments enhances the film's emotional impact. From a cinematic perspective, the choice to depict these significant events with a mix of grand spectacle and intimate moments enhances the film's emotional impact. The cinematography, with its sweeping shots of the snowy battlefield and the warm, golden tones of the Cullen household, mirrors the duality of the film's themes: the cold, harsh realities of conflict versus the warmth of love and unity. Critics have often praised the film's ability to balance these tones, creating a narrative that feels both epic in scope and deeply personal. The emotional resonance of Breaking Dawn Part 2 is perhaps most evident in its final moments. As Bella drops her mental shield and allows Edward to read her thoughts for the first time, the film delivers a payoff that is both intimate and deeply satisfying. This moment serves as a culmination of their love story, a way for Bella to finally share every part of herself with Edward. The montage of their journey, set to Christina Perri's A Thousand Years, is a nostalgic nod to the fans who have followed the series from the beginning. It's a moment that feels like a gift, a reminder of the love, sacrifices, and growth that have defined their relationship. Critical reception of these events has been a mix of admiration and debate. Some praise the film for its ability to deliver a satisfying conclusion while staying true to the emotional core of the series. Others critique it for its reliance on fan service and melodrama. However, even the film's detractors often acknowledge the impact of its key moments and the way they resonate with the franchise's devoted fanbase. The climactic battle, in particular, has been lauded for its audaciousness and the way it subverts expectations, leaving viewers with a sense of relief and catharsis. In the end, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is a film that thrives on its significant events, weaving them together to create a narrative that is as emotionally charged as it is visually stunning. Each moment, from Bella's transformation to the Volturi's retreat, contributes to a story that is both a celebration of love and a meditation on the power of unity. It's a conclusion that lingers long after the credits roll, leaving audiences with a sense of closure and a reminder of why this saga captured their hearts in the first place. The making of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, was as much an epic journey as the story it told. Behind the glittering veneer of vampires and the icy tundra of the film's climactic moments lay a production process filled with meticulous planning, unexpected challenges, and a few surprises that gave the final film its unique charm. It wasn't just a blockbuster movie. It was the culmination of a 5-film saga that had defined an era of pop culture. Bringing this vision to life required an incredible collaboration between cast, crew, and creative minds. One of the most fascinating aspects of the production process was the visual effects. The filmmakers were tasked with creating a supernatural world that felt grounded and immersive. From Bella's transformation into a vampire to the rapid growth of Renesmee, every detail was crafted with precision. Renesmee's aging, in particular, presented a challenge. The character's accelerated development had to be believable yet seamless, and the filmmakers opted for a mix of CGI and live-action techniques. They digitally mapped Mackenzie Foy's face onto younger and older body doubles to show her growth progression. This painstaking process ensured that Renesmee's evolution didn't feel jarring but rather natural and integral to the story. The battle sequence that Alice envisions was another massive undertaking. Filmed on a custom-built set in Vancouver, the sequence required extensive pre-visualization and choreography to ensure it captured the intensity and emotional weight of the story. The filmmakers constructed a vast icy field, complete with snow-like materials, to create the illusion of a frozen landscape. What made this even more challenging was filming with a cast of over 50 actors and extras, each with their own distinct costumes and abilities. The cast underwent rigorous stunt training to prepare for the intricate fight choreography, and the crew worked tirelessly to ensure the logistics of such a massive scene went smoothly. But not everything went according to plan. During the filming of the battle, Taylor Lautner, Jacob, had a minor mishap while rehearsing a fight sequence. While attempting a particularly dramatic leap, he accidentally landed on a padded area meant for another actor. The crew broke into laughter, and Lautner himself couldn't stop chuckling, joking that his werewolf reflexes needed some fine-tuning. Moments like this lightened the mood on set, even during the most demanding shooting days. One of the most interesting production insights involved Bella's vampire transformation. Kristen Stewart had to adjust her performance to reflect Bella's heightened senses and new abilities. She described it as a fascinating challenge, as she had to recalibrate Bella's movements to feel more graceful and predatory. Stewart worked closely with the stunt and movement coaches to ensure that Bella's transformation felt authentic. In interviews, she shared how liberating it was to play this version of Bella, where she could finally embrace the power and confidence her character had longed for. The production also leaned heavily into practical effects wherever possible. The Cullen family home, for instance, was partially built on location to allow for more authentic interactions. This provided the cast with a tangible environment, making their performances feel more grounded. The house's warm, golden interiors contrasted with the stark, icy exterior of the battle scenes, creating a visual metaphor for the warmth of family versus the cold realities of conflict. A unique behind-the-scenes anecdote involves the cast's bond during filming. The ensemble had grown close over the years, and this final installment felt like the end of an era. To commemorate their time together, they organized a surprise party on the last day of shooting. Robert Pattinson, Edward, and Taylor Lautner teamed up to create a light-hearted farewell speech, poking fun at their characters' love triangle while expressing gratitude for the journey they had shared. Kristen Stewart later shared how emotional it was to say goodbye to a cast and crew that had become like family. The film's soundtrack also played a significant role in its production. Music supervisor Alexandra Patsavas curated a list of songs that would capture the emotional core of the story. Christina Perri's A Thousand Years, which became an anthem for the saga, was reimagined for the final film, reflecting the culmination of Bella and Edward's love story. The inclusion of Green Day's The Forgotten added a poignant touch to the film's end credits, symbolizing the series' lasting impact on its audience. The international aspect of the film also brought some exciting challenges. With the introduction of vampires from around the world, the costume and makeup departments had to create distinct looks for each coven. From the regal attire of the Volturi to the earthy tones of the Amazonian vampires, every detail was carefully designed to reflect their cultural backgrounds. The filmmakers consulted historians and cultural experts to ensure authenticity, adding a layer of depth and richness to the characters. One of the stranger facts about the production involved the Volturi's dramatic entrances. Michael Sheen, who played Arrow, brought an unexpected energy to his role, often improvising his delivery to create an air of unpredictability. During one take, Sheen added an unsettling laugh that wasn't in the script, catching his fellow actors off guard. The director loved the spontaneity and kept it in the final cut, adding to Arrow's menacing aura. The relationship between cast and fans also influenced the production. With millions of devoted followers worldwide, the filmmakers were keenly aware of the expectations riding on this final chapter. During breaks in filming, the cast would often interact with fans who had gathered near the sets, signing autographs and taking pictures. These moments not only highlighted the impact of the franchise but also motivated the cast to deliver a film that would honor their dedication. Post-production was another critical phase where the magic truly came together. The visual effects team spent months perfecting Bella's shield and the supernatural abilities of the other vampires. The challenge lay in making these effects feel seamless and believable while maintaining the emotional gravity of the scenes. The editing team also worked closely with director Bill Condon to ensure the pacing of the film balanced its quieter, intimate moments with its high-stakes action sequences. Perhaps one of the most surprising behind-the-scenes stories is the hidden Easter egg during the end credits. The final sequence pays homage to the entire series, featuring a montage of all the characters who had appeared throughout the saga. This was a deliberate choice to give fans a sense of closure, allowing them to reflect on the journey they had been a part of. The creative team felt it was important to acknowledge the series' legacy and the millions of lives it had touched. Despite its challenges, the production of Breaking Dawn Part 2 was a labor of love that brought together talent, creativity, and passion. The film not only delivered a satisfying conclusion to an iconic series but also left an indelible mark on its cast, crew, and fans. For those involved in its creation, it wasn't just about making a movie, it was about crafting a cultural phenomenon that would be remembered for years to come. The setting of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, Part 2 plays a vital role in shaping the film's atmosphere and heightening its emotional resonance. From the familiar landscapes of Forks, Washington, to the icy tundras that serve as the backdrop for the climactic showdown, the locations were chosen and crafted with care to enhance the story. The settings serve not only as the physical spaces where the narrative unfolds, but also as symbolic extensions of the film's themes of family, loyalty, and sacrifice. Combined with the film's cinematography and visual elements, the settings create a cinematic experience that draws viewers into the supernatural world of vampires and werewolves. The film begins in the Cullen family home, a place that has become iconic throughout the series. Nestled in the lush greenery of Forks, this modern, sleek house represents both sanctuary and strength for Bella, Edward, and their family. For this installment, the interior of the house was updated to reflect Bella's new role as a vampire. The warm, golden hues of the lighting and the cozy yet elegant design of the furniture evoke a sense of belonging and stability. The Cullen home feels like a place where the family's love and unity flourish, setting the stage for the challenges they must face together. This contrast between domestic tranquility and external danger mirrors the film's central tension. The cinematography within the Cullen house enhances the intimacy of the story. Close-up shots and soft lighting are used to emphasize the bonds between characters, particularly in scenes where Bella interacts with Renesmee. The use of handheld camera work during family moments creates a sense of immediacy, allowing viewers to feel like they are part of the family's quiet moments. This warmth is deliberately juxtaposed with the colder, more foreboding settings that dominate the latter half of the film. As the story progresses, the setting expands to include the wilderness surrounding Forks. The dense forests, with their towering trees and misty atmosphere, have always been a hallmark of the series, but in Breaking Dawn Part 2, they take on a new significance. These woods are no longer just a backdrop, they are Bella's training ground as she explores her newfound vampire abilities. The cinematography during these sequences captures the raw energy and beauty of the natural world. Sweeping wide shots show Bella leaping between trees and running at incredible speeds, while the sound design emphasizes the crunch of leaves and the rush of wind, immersing viewers in her heightened senses. One of the most striking settings in the film is the snowy battlefield where the Volturi and the Cullen allies face off. This vast, icy expanse was carefully designed to evoke a sense of stark, otherworldly beauty. The snow-covered ground, stretching endlessly in all directions, serves as a blank canvas against which the vivid colors of the characters' costumes and powers stand out. The choice of a frozen landscape is significant. It symbolizes both the cold, calculated nature of the Volturi and the frozen moment in time where the future of the Cullen family hangs in the balance. The cinematography in the battle scene is masterful, using wide-angle shots to showcase the scale of the confrontation while interspersing close-ups to capture the raw emotion on the characters' faces. The use of slow motion during critical moments, such as Alice's vision of the battle's aftermath, heightens the tension and allows viewers to fully absorb the stakes of the conflict. The filmmakers also employed aerial shots to give a bird's-eye view of the battle, emphasizing the chess-like nature of the confrontation and the strategic positioning of the characters. The lighting throughout the film is another crucial element that enhances the mood and tone. In the Cullen home and forest scenes, the lighting is soft and natural, creating a sense of warmth and vitality. In contrast, the scenes involving the Volturi are bathed in cooler tones, with stark shadows and muted colors that underscore their menace. During the climactic battle, the overcast sky adds to the tension, casting a gray pall over the scene and making the flashes of supernatural powers all the more striking. The film's visual effects team also played a significant role in bringing the settings to life. For instance, Renesmee's rapid aging was achieved through a combination of digital effects and practical techniques. The snowy battlefield was a mix of real sets and CGI enhancements, seamlessly blending to create a believable and immersive environment. The team even used digital snowflakes to control the intensity and direction of the snowfall, ensuring that it added to the atmosphere without distracting from the action. The costumes and makeup further contribute to the film's visual storytelling. The Volturi's dark, flowing robes and pale complexions create an almost gothic aesthetic, reinforcing their role as the film's antagonists. In contrast, the Cullen family and their allies wear lighter, more contemporary clothing that reflects their individuality and humanity despite their supernatural nature. These visual contrasts help viewers distinguish between the opposing sides and understand their underlying philosophies. One of the most fascinating aspects of the film's setting is the inclusion of vampires from around the world. The filmmakers went to great lengths to ensure that each coven had a distinct visual identity that reflected their cultural backgrounds. For example, the Amazonian vampires are adorned with tribal-inspired accessories, while the Denali clan's icy blue tones evoke the Alaskan wilderness. These details not only enrich the film's visual palette but also emphasize the theme of unity in diversity, as vampires from different cultures come together to stand against the Volturi. The use of color throughout the film is both deliberate and impactful. The muted tones of the Volturi scenes contrast sharply with the vibrant hues of the Cullen family's moments, symbolizing the stark difference between their worldviews. The icy blue of the battlefield serves as a neutral backdrop, allowing the characters' emotions and actions to take center stage. The filmmakers also used red sparingly but effectively, such as in Bella's eyes after her transformation, to signal power and danger. The sound design and score further enhance the settings and cinematic elements. Composer Carter Burwell's music is a seamless blend of haunting piano melodies and sweeping orchestral arrangements that capture the film's emotional core. The soundtrack's recurring themes, such as Bella's lullaby, serve as auditory anchors that connect the characters and their journeys. The use of silence is also notable, particularly during the moments leading up to the battle. The absence of sound creates a sense of foreboding, drawing viewers to the edge of their seats. The final moments of the film take us back to the Cullen family home, where Bella and Edward share an intimate scene that reflects on their journey. The setting here feels like a full-circle moment, bringing the story back to its emotional roots. The soft lighting and close framing create a sense of closure and warmth, leaving viewers with a feeling of hope and satisfaction. In conclusion, the settings and cinematic elements of Breaking Dawn Part 2 are integral to its storytelling. From the familiar warmth of the Cullen home to the stark beauty of the battlefield, each location is meticulously crafted to enhance the narrative and evoke specific emotions. The cinematography, lighting, and visual effects work in harmony to create a film that is as visually stunning as it is emotionally resonant. By immersing viewers in its world, the film not only brings the saga to a satisfying conclusion but also leaves a lasting impression that lingers long after the credits roll. Behind the scenes of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, The world was as dynamic and complex as the one captured on screen. The process of bringing the grand conclusion to the Twilight Saga to life was not just about perfecting the visuals or the story. It was a mosaic of memorable moments, unexpected challenges, and creative camaraderie among the cast and crew. As the final installment in a globally beloved franchise, the stakes were high, and so was the energy on set. From light-hearted pranks to intricate problem-solving, the journey of making the film was an adventure in its own right. One of the most talked-about elements of the production was the unique bond shared by the cast. Over the course of the saga, Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner, along with the rest of the ensemble, had developed a close-knit camaraderie that translated into a comfortable and collaborative environment. Kristen, who portrayed Bella Swan, once described the atmosphere on set as a second family, with everyone supporting each other through the intense schedule and high expectations. Robert, in his trademark dry humor, often joked about how the cast had spent so much time together that they could communicate without words, which proved both a blessing and a source of hilarity during certain scenes. One fun tidbit from the set involved Mackenzie Foy, the young actress who played Renesmee, Bella and Edward's extraordinary daughter. Mackenzie was adored by everyone, and her presence brought a light-hearted energy to the set. Given her young age, the cast members were mindful of maintaining a positive environment around her. However, Mackenzie became the unintentional enforcer of good behavior because she implemented a swear jar on set. Every time someone let a curse word slip, they had to contribute to the jar. By the end of filming, Mackenzie had amassed quite a collection, much to the amusement of the cast and crew. One of the more technical behind-the-scenes challenges revolved around creating Renesmee's rapidly aging character. The filmmakers decided to use a mix of CGI and practical effects to portray her unique growth pattern. Initially, they experimented with using different child actors for various stages of Renesmee's development, but it became clear that maintaining Mackenzie's likeness through digital techniques would create a more cohesive and believable portrayal. This involved a groundbreaking process where Mackenzie's facial features were digitally mapped onto the bodies of younger and older performers. While the technology was impressive, the process required meticulous attention to detail and extended post-production hours, often leaving the team balancing between technological ambition and narrative consistency. Another fascinating aspect of the production was the filming of the climactic battle scene, one of the most elaborate sequences in the film. While the final product is seamless, achieving it required months of planning and coordination. The icy battlefield was constructed on a massive soundstage, complete with artificial snow and intricate lighting rigs to create the illusion of a wintry landscape. For the Volturi and the Cullen family, every detail mattered, from the texture of the snow to the choreography of their movements. The battle scenes themselves were a mix of practical stunts and visual effects. The actors underwent rigorous fight training to ensure their movements looked both graceful and fierce. Stunt coordinators worked tirelessly to map out the confrontations, and the sequences were filmed multiple times to capture the intensity from every angle. On more than one occasion, laughter would break the tension as actors would stumble, misstep, or accidentally whack each other with props. These moments of levity kept the atmosphere light during what could have been an exhausting process. Taylor Lautner, known for his role as Jacob Black, was at the center of many light-hearted antics on set. His playful personality often led to pranks, with Robert Pattinson being one of his favorite targets. One memorable incident involved Taylor filling Robert's trailer with balloons as a celebration for finishing a difficult scene. Robert's bemused reaction to opening the door and being engulfed in balloons became a running joke among the crew. Kristen Stewart also had her share of challenges while filming. For much of the movie, her character Bella is a newly turned vampire, which required Kristen to adopt a more animalistic and instinct-driven performance style. To prepare, Kristen worked closely with movement coaches who helped her tap into the primal energy of her character. While she nailed the performance, some of the early practice sessions resulted in unintentional comedy, with Kristen laughing at her own attempts to look feral. The costume department faced its own set of challenges, especially with the Volturi's intricate wardrobe. The regal yet menacing attire had to reflect their status as ancient vampire royalty while allowing for movement during the battle scenes. Each costume was painstakingly detailed, with layers of rich fabric, embroidery, and leatherwork. However, the sheer weight of the costumes occasionally caused discomfort for the actors. Michael Sheen, who played Arrow, admitted that while his elaborate robes looked fantastic on screen, they were incredibly cumbersome during long shooting days. Despite this, his portrayal of Arrow's theatrical and chilling demeanor remained flawless, a testament to his professionalism. The bond between cast members wasn't limited to the leads. Supporting actors, including the international vampires who allied with the Cullens, brought their own flair and stories to the production. The filmmakers wanted each vampire coven to reflect their cultural heritage, which meant creating unique backstories and costumes for each group. The actors embraced this opportunity, often improvising elements of their characters during rehearsals. For example, the Egyptian coven actors added subtle gestures and mannerisms inspired by ancient Egyptian culture, which added depth to their performances. Director Bill Condon was instrumental in fostering an environment of collaboration and creativity. Known for his calm demeanor and clear vision, Bill encouraged the cast to contribute their ideas to the film. One such instance involved the final montage, where Bella shares her memories with Edward. Originally envisioned as a simpler sequence, Kristen suggested incorporating moments from previous films to create a nostalgic and emotional impact. The idea resonated with Bill, and the resulting montage became one of the most memorable moments in the film. While the production had its share of lighter moments, there were also significant challenges. The tight shooting schedule meant long hours for everyone involved, often requiring night shoots and back-to-back scenes. The weather also posed difficulties, particularly when filming outdoor scenes in Forks. Rain and cold temperatures were a constant presence, and the cast had to power through the discomfort to deliver their performances. To keep spirits high, the crew often organized impromptu games and contests during breaks, fostering a sense of camaraderie that helped everyone push through the tough days. Post-production was another Herculean effort, particularly when it came to the film's visual effects. The team worked tirelessly to create the supernatural abilities of the vampires, from Bella's shield to the Volturi's destructive powers. Each effect had to look seamless and believable, which required countless hours of fine-tuning. The animators even studied animal behavior to ensure that Bella's movements as a vampire felt authentic and grounded. Perhaps one of the most surprising behind-the-scenes insights was the amount of input fans had on the film. As the final installment of a beloved franchise, the filmmakers were acutely aware of the expectations of Twilight's passionate fanbase. During early screenings, fans provided feedback that helped shape certain elements of the film. For example, the filmmakers enhanced the final battle sequence based on fan reactions, adding more intensity and drama to ensure it would be a memorable conclusion. As the production wrapped, the cast and crew reflected on the journey they had undertaken together. For many, Breaking Dawn Part 2 was more than just a movie. It was the culmination of years of hard work, personal growth, and shared experiences. The final day of shooting was an emotional one, with heartfelt speeches, tearful goodbyes, and a sense of gratitude for being part of something so special. In the end, the behind-the-scenes story of Breaking Dawn, Part 2 is a testament to the power of collaboration and creativity. It was a production filled with challenges and triumphs, laughter and tears, and an unwavering commitment to delivering a film that would resonate with audiences around the world. As the cameras stopped rolling and the sets were dismantled, the legacy of the Twilight Saga lived on, both in the hearts of its creators and in the millions of fans who had been part of the journey. Themes and symbolism are the soul of the Twilight Saga. Breaking Dawn, Part 2, weaving depth into its vampire lore, love story, and climactic battles. Beneath the surface of its dramatic plot, the movie explores profound ideas about love, family, identity, and power. These themes are intricately connected to the characters' journeys, shaping their decisions and relationships. Additionally, the film uses a variety of symbolic elements, both visual and narrative, to add layers of meaning that resonate long after the credits roll. At its core, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is a story about love in all its forms. Romantic love is, of course, the foundation of Bella and Edward's relationship, but this installment deepens that exploration by highlighting their love as parents. Their devotion to their daughter Renesmee is unwavering, and it drives much of the tension in the story. Bella and Edward's willingness to protect Renesmee at all costs reflects the idea of self-sacrificial love, a theme that resonates universally. The Cullens' extended family and allies also exemplify love in action, standing by one another despite the risks. The collective love they show for their family unit transforms them into a force strong enough to confront the powerful Volturi. Family, as a theme, is omnipresent in the film, but it is not confined to traditional definitions. The Cullens themselves are a testament to chosen family, vampires who have come together not out of blood ties but mutual respect and loyalty. This idea of forging a family based on love and shared values is a counterpoint to the Volturi, who are united by power, control, and fear. The concept of identity also runs deeply through the film. Bella's transformation into a vampire is both physical and symbolic. Her journey throughout the series has been one of self-discovery, and by the time Breaking Dawn Part 2 begins, she has fully embraced her new identity. As a vampire, Bella feels empowered for the first time, her newfound strength and confidence representing her evolution into someone who is no longer defined by external forces. This theme resonates strongly in the final moments of the film when Bella uses her unique abilities to protect her family. Her shield, a supernatural manifestation of her inner strength, is symbolic of her role as a protector and her acceptance of who she truly is. Renesmee, too, embodies themes of identity and belonging. As a hybrid child, she is caught between two worlds, vampire and human. Her existence challenges traditional notions of what it means to belong, forcing others to reconsider their prejudices and fears. Renesmee's character symbolizes the idea that new beginnings and possibilities can emerge when different worlds come together. She represents hope, a bridge between two seemingly incompatible realms, and her presence drives much of the film's emotional core. Symbolism plays a crucial role in emphasizing these themes. The most striking example is Bella's shield, which serves as both a literal and figurative representation of protection and inner strength. In a world where most vampires possess offensive abilities, Bella's power is defensive, highlighting her nurturing and selfless nature. The way she learns to control her shield mirrors her journey of self-mastery and confidence. It's a subtle but powerful symbol of the growth she has undergone throughout the series. The setting itself is another significant symbolic element. The lush forests of Forks, Washington, are more than just a backdrop. They represent the dichotomy between the natural and supernatural worlds. The beauty of the environment contrasts with the danger and tension that permeate the story, underscoring the film's central conflicts. The snowy battlefield in the climactic sequence is particularly striking, with its stark whiteness symbolizing both purity and the cold, harsh reality of the impending confrontation. Snow, often associated with stillness and silence, is juxtaposed with the chaos and violence of the battle, creating a visual metaphor for the fragility of peace. The Volturi, as characters, are laden with symbolic meaning. They represent corruption and the abuse of power, with their regal attire and formal demeanor masking their underlying ruthlessness. Arrow, in particular, is a fascinating symbol of manipulation and greed. His obsession with accumulating powerful individuals into the Volturi's ranks speaks to the dangers of unchecked ambition. The Volturi's oppressive rule stands in stark contrast to the Cullens' approach, emphasizing the theme of power used for tyranny versus power used for good. Another recurring symbol is the concept of light and darkness, which has been a motif throughout the Twilight series but takes on new significance in the finale. Bella and Edward's love is often framed in terms of light piercing through darkness, with Edward referring to Bella as his son earlier in the series. In Breaking Dawn, Part 2, this idea evolves as Bella herself becomes a source of light and strength, no longer relying solely on Edward. The moments of family togetherness, particularly those involving Renesmee, are often bathed in warm, golden light, symbolizing hope and love. In contrast, scenes involving the Volturi are characterized by muted, cold tones, reinforcing their oppressive nature. The theme of free will is another thread woven throughout the story. Each character's choices, whether to fight, to flee, or to stand by their convictions, shape the narrative. The Cullens' decision to gather witnesses rather than immediately engage in violence reflects their belief in diplomacy and justice, even in the face of overwhelming odds. This contrasts sharply with the Volturi, who are driven by fear and control, forcing others into submission. The juxtaposition of these approaches underscores the moral complexity of the film. Inviting viewers to consider the implications of their own choices. Sacrifice is yet another theme that permeates the film. The characters are constantly faced with situations that demand them to put others before themselves. Jacob's decision to imprint on Renesmee, while controversial within the story, is an act of devotion and protection. Similarly, the Cullens and their allies risk their lives to ensure Renesmee's safety. These acts of sacrifice highlight the idea that love often requires courage and selflessness, and they add emotional weight to the story. The climactic battle sequence is rich with thematic and symbolic significance. While the vision of the battle is ultimately revealed to be a ploy, it serves as a metaphor for the high stakes and the potential consequences of the Volturi's tyranny. The moment when Carlyle is seemingly killed is particularly poignant, symbolizing the fragility of leadership and the cost of standing up for what is right. Even though the battle doesn't happen in reality, the shared experience unites the characters and reinforces the bonds of trust and loyalty that define the Cullens and their allies. Finally, the theme of closure resonates strongly in the film's conclusion. The final moments, where Bella shares her memories with Edward, are a powerful reminder of the journey they've taken together. The montage of their shared experiences is not just a trip down memory lane but a celebration of their growth as individuals and as a couple. It's a poignant way to tie together the themes of love, resilience, and self-discovery that have defined the series. The use of music also plays a symbolic role in enhancing these themes. Carter Burwell's score, particularly the recurring Bella's Lullaby motif, underscores the emotional beats of the story. The music acts as a thread connecting the past to the present, reminding viewers of the love story at the heart of the saga. The use of Christina Perri's A Thousand Years in the closing credits further emphasizes the timeless nature of Bella and Edward's love, leaving audiences with a sense of fulfillment and nostalgia. In conclusion, the themes and symbolism of Breaking Dawn Part 2 elevate it beyond a simple vampire romance. Through its exploration of love, family, identity, and power, the film resonates on a deeper emotional level. The symbolism, from Bella's shield to the contrasting settings, adds layers of meaning that enrich the story. These elements, woven seamlessly into the narrative, create a film that is not only a fitting conclusion to the Twilight Saga but also a testament to the enduring power of its themes. Filmmaking techniques in the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, are crucial to its atmospheric tone, emotional depth, and overall audience experience. As the final installment in the Twilight Saga, the movie needed to deliver a sense of conclusion, both visually and emotionally, while maintaining the captivating allure of the fantasy world that had enchanted millions. The filmmakers employed a range of techniques to ensure that the final chapter was as visually striking and narratively compelling as the ones that came before it, blending stunning cinematography, innovative sound design, meticulous editing, and purposeful camera work to create a memorable cinematic experience. One of the standout elements of the film is its use of cinematography. Cinematographer Guillermo Navarro, an Academy Award-winning artist, played a key role in shaping the visual identity of the film. The way he framed shots, used lighting, and created visual metaphors all contributed significantly to the film's atmosphere. For instance, Navarro frequently employed naturalistic lighting in scenes that took place in the forests surrounding the Cullen family's home. These scenes are bathed in soft, warm light that highlights the serene beauty of the natural world. This warmth contrasts sharply with the cold, more clinical lighting used in scenes involving the Volturi, who live in an imposing, Gothic castle surrounded by desolation. The contrast in lighting helps visually separate the Cullens' family-oriented, natural world from the sinister and authoritarian domain of the Volturi. Lighting also plays an important role in enhancing the emotional weight of particular moments, especially those between Bella and Edward. The warm lighting used during their reunion after Bella's transformation as a vampire highlights their deep love for each other. In contrast, the cold, almost sterile lighting used during the climactic sequence involving the Volturi emphasizes the tense and dangerous atmosphere surrounding the impending conflict. This strategic use of lighting not only shapes the viewer's emotional response but also provides a visual cue as to where the characters' loyalties lie. The film's use of color also adds to the emotional resonance of the scenes. Throughout Breaking Dawn Part 2, the filmmakers frequently employ a palette of muted, desaturated colors to reflect the darker, more serious tone of the narrative. The costumes worn by the Cullens and their allies are typically understated, in earthy tones of beige, brown, and green, symbolizing their connection to nature. On the other hand, the Volturi are dressed in more formal and lavish clothing in dark colors such as black, burgundy, and deep purple. These colors are symbolic of their authoritarian nature, representing their power, control, and the threat they pose to the Cullen family. By emphasizing these visual cues, the filmmakers were able to add depth to the characters' identities and make their internal conflicts more palpable to the audience. Another significant filmmaking technique in Breaking Dawn Part 2 is its use of sound and music. Composer Carter Burwell, who had worked on previous Twilight films, crafted a beautiful and haunting score for the final installment. The score incorporates both familiar themes from earlier films in the series as well as new motifs that underscore the sense of finality and emotional growth in this concluding chapter. Burwell's score utilizes piano and strings to create a sense of nostalgia and longing, particularly in the scenes between Bella and Edward. The melodies are understated yet poignant, mirroring the characters' internal struggles and the tension that builds as the conflict with the Volturi escalates. In addition to Burwell's score, the film features a variety of carefully chosen songs that heighten emotional moments. One of the most notable examples is Christina Perri's A Thousand Years, which plays during the final wedding scene and serves as the perfect soundtrack to Bella and Edward's eternal love. The song's soft, romantic lyrics and delicate instrumentation capture the essence of their relationship, providing a sense of closure and resolution as the film draws to a close. Perry's track has since become synonymous with the Twilight franchise, and its inclusion in Breaking Dawn Part 2 perfectly encapsulates the emotions of the final installment. The sound design in Breaking Dawn Part 2 is also notable for its subtle yet effective use of atmospheric sounds to immerse the audience in the film's world. For example, the rustling of leaves in the forest, the crackling of a fire, or the quiet, almost imperceptible sound of a vampire's swift movements all contribute to the movie's tension and realism. These sound effects are used sparingly, allowing the more intense moments, such as the battle sequences, to stand out even more. The quiet before the storm adds to the mounting sense of suspense and unease, allowing the payoff of the climactic moments to feel earned, and emotionally charged editing is another key element in the film's pacing and overall storytelling. Editor Nancy Richardson, who had worked on previous Twilight films, brings her expertise to Breaking Dawn Part 2, ensuring that the film moves smoothly between various narrative threads without feeling rushed or disjointed. One of the most difficult challenges in adapting Stephenie Meyer's complex and beloved novel into a two-part film was balancing the quiet, intimate moments with the action-heavy sequences. Richardson's editing successfully strikes this balance, allowing for moments of reflection and character development while still maintaining a brisk pace that keeps the audience engaged. One of the most iconic moments in the film, Bella's first hunt as a vampire, shows how the editing creates a sense of fluidity and movement, highlighting Bella's transformation and newfound strength. The sequence is constructed with rapid cuts and sharp transitions, mimicking Bella's heightened senses and rapid reflexes. This kinetic editing style contrasts with the more contemplative scenes of Bella and Edward, where the editing is more deliberate and drawn out to give the audience time to absorb the emotional weight of the moment. The film also employs a few strategic instances of slow motion, which adds to the intensity and drama of certain key scenes. The slow motion technique is particularly effective during the climactic battle sequence, where the stakes are at their highest. The slow motion shots give the audience a chance to fully appreciate the gravity of each action, whether it's a powerful strike, a character's sacrifice, or a triumphant moment. The tension in these sequences is heightened by the editing choices, as the slow motion allows the audience to process the significance of the character's actions in a more visceral way. In terms of visual effects, Breaking Dawn Part 2 features a variety of cutting-edge techniques that bring the world of vampires and werewolves to life. The visual effects team, led by John Bruno, employed a combination of practical and computer-generated effects to create the supernatural elements of the film. The most notable example is the transformation of Bella into a vampire. The transition is visually stunning, with special effects highlighting the burning sensation she experiences as she changes. The quick, swirling visual effects of her transformation are designed to reflect the intensity of the experience, and the glowing, shimmering skin of Bella's vampire form is a striking image that serves as a visual marker of her new identity. The use of CGI is also prominent in the action sequences, particularly the moments involving the Volturi and their army. The filmmakers used digital effects to enhance the superhuman strength and speed of the vampires, as well as to create some of the more fantastical elements of the battle, such as the rapid movements of the characters and the destruction that ensues. While the CGI is undeniably important in creating the supernatural world of Breaking Dawn Part 2, the filmmakers ensured that the effects were used in a way that didn't overshadow the human elements of the story. The emphasis was always on the characters and their relationships, with the visual effects serving as a backdrop to the emotional core of the film. When it comes to box office production, Breaking Dawn Part 2 had enormous commercial success. The film had a substantial production budget, with estimates ranging from $120 million to $136 million, making it one of the more expensive entries in the Twilight franchise. However, the investment paid off, as the movie went on to gross over $829 million worldwide. This success can be attributed to several factors, including the built-in fanbase from the book series, the strong performances of the cast, and the skillful execution of the filmmaking techniques discussed earlier. The film's global appeal played a significant role in its box office performance. It was released in multiple formats, including IMAX and 3D, which contributed to increased ticket prices and higher earnings. The wide availability across various platforms and theaters ensured that fans from around the world could experience the final chapter of the Twilight Saga in a way that was both visually and emotionally engaging. Despite mixed critical reviews, the film's commercial success speaks to the franchise's enduring popularity and the emotional investment of its fanbase. In conclusion, the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is a testament to the power of filmmaking techniques in creating a memorable cinematic experience. The combination of expert cinematography, strategic editing, evocative sound design, and impressive visual effects all work in harmony to enhance the story and immerse the viewer in the world of the Cullens and Volturi. The movie's success at the box office reflects not only the strong fanbase of the Twilight franchise, but also the effectiveness of these filmmaking techniques in bringing the final chapter to life. From Bella's transformation to the climactic battle, every moment is designed to evoke an emotional response, making Breaking Dawn Part 2 a fitting conclusion to one of the most iconic film franchises of the 21st century. In the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, the final chapter of the beloved Twilight Saga, the film's cast brings the characters to life in a way that captivates audiences worldwide. The cast's performances, both individually and collectively, create an emotional arc that resonates long after the credits roll. As this film marks the culmination of a story that has spanned 4 years and 5 movies, the actors' portrayals are not only important to the resolution of their characters but to the legacy of the franchise as a whole. Leading the cast is Kristen Stewart as Bella Swan. From the very first film, Stewart's portrayal of Bella has been central to the series' success. Bella's journey from a conflicted teenager to a powerful, confident vampire is depicted with depth and nuance, largely due to Stewart's commitment to the role. By the time Breaking Dawn Part 2 begins, Bella has undergone a profound transformation, not just physically, but emotionally as well. The actress infuses her performance with a newfound strength, a sense of peace that has come with her vampire transformation, and an overwhelming devotion to her family. Stewart's ability to convey Bella's internal conflict, particularly in scenes where she must reconcile her human past with her immortal future, adds emotional weight to the story. In interviews leading up to the film's release, Stewart spoke candidly about the challenges of portraying a character who has evolved so drastically. Bella's transformation is more than just physical, Stewart explained. She is learning to embrace herself fully, with all the love, strength, and power that comes with it. It was a beautiful arc to finish. Stewart's reflection on her character's evolution was echoed by many fans, who appreciated how the actress had grown into the role over the course of the franchise. Opposite Stewart is Robert Pattinson as Edward Cullen, the brooding, eternally devoted vampire. Pattinson's portrayal of Edward has been a fan favorite since the first film, and by the time Breaking Dawn Part 2 arrives, the actor has perfected the complex layers of his character. Edward's deep love for Bella, his protectiveness over their daughter Renesmee, and his sense of duty as part of the Cullen family are all embodied in Pattinson's performance. The actor navigates these emotional intricacies with ease, portraying a character who is constantly torn between his love for Bella and the responsibility he feels toward his family and the vampire world. Pattinson's journey with the character has been one of immense growth, and he has spoken in several interviews about how his understanding of Edward deepened as the story progressed. Edward is a man torn between two worlds, one that he has to leave behind and one that he has to fight for, Pattinson reflected in an interview. In this final movie, he's learned to embrace his love for Bella without hesitation. He's no longer the tortured soul he was in the first films. He's found peace. For many viewers, this portrayal of Edward resonated, particularly in his interactions with Bella and their daughter, Renesmee. The sincerity in Pattinson's performance allows Edward to evolve in ways that are both believable and heartfelt. Next, we turn to the character of Jacob Black, portrayed by Taylor Lautner. Jacob's transformation in Breaking Dawn Part 2 is both literal and emotional. The movie reveals the complexities of his feelings, not only for Bella but for Renesmee, the daughter of Bella and Edward. Lautner, known for his role as the werewolf caught between two supernatural worlds, brings a level of maturity to the character that viewers hadn't yet seen. Jacob's internal conflict about imprinting on Renesmee, a young child who will grow into a woman, provides both emotional depth and conflict in the film. Lautner navigates this delicate storyline with grace, depicting Jacob's struggle to accept his new reality while also embracing the love he feels for Bella's daughter. His performance adds a layer of tension to the film's narrative, as Jacob's connection to Renesmee is both unconventional and complex. In interviews, Lautner discussed the challenges of portraying such a polarizing character. Jacob's feelings are so raw in this movie, Lautner explained. It's a new experience for him. He's spent so much of his life wanting Bella, and now he has to face a new reality with Renesmee. It's definitely a shift, but it's also a very important part of the story. Lautner's portrayal of Jacob shows his growth as an actor, and his chemistry with both Stewart and Pattinson adds an intriguing layer to the dynamics of the Cullen family. Then there's the fiercely independent and protective matriarch of the Cullen family, Alice Cullen, played by Ashley Greene. Alice is one of the more cheerful and optimistic characters in the Twilight universe, and Greene's portrayal infuses the character with a sense of warmth and loyalty. Throughout the series, Alice has been a central figure, and in Breaking Dawn Part 2, her role grows even more important. As Bella transitions into her new life as a vampire, Alice stands as a supportive and guiding presence, encouraging Bella to embrace her new powers and responsibilities. Greene's portrayal of Alice in the final film highlights her unwavering commitment to her family, and it's clear that Alice has matured from the spirited character of the first films into someone who's fully committed to her family's survival. In interviews, Greene spoke about her deep connection to Alice, saying, "Alice's loyalty to her family is something I really admire. In this movie, we see how far she's willing to go for the people she loves." Her portrayal of Alice is not only integral to the plot but also to the emotional journey that the audience experiences. Of course, the Volturi, led by the imposing Arrow, played by Michael Sheen, are central to the drama in Breaking Dawn Part 2. Sheen's performance as Arrow, a power-hungry vampire who seeks to control the vampire world, is both chilling and captivating. Arrow's motivations are complex. He's driven by a desire for ultimate power and control, but his deep affection for his coven members adds an unsettling layer of humanity to his character. Sheen brings this complexity to life with a performance that is both theatrical and restrained. His portrayal of Arrow is a highlight of the film, and Sheen's scenes with the other members of the Volturi are always gripping. As for the fans, Breaking Dawn Part 2 undoubtedly left an impact. The movie's emotional weight, combined with the stunning visuals and action-packed scenes, resulted in a mixed yet enthusiastic response. The audience's reaction to the final installment was one of both exhilaration and sadness. Exhilaration from the intense battle sequences, the emotional highs, and the final reunion of Bella and Edward, and sadness from the knowledge that it was all coming to an end. Many fans took to social media to express their feelings, with comments praising the performances of Stewart, Pattinson, and Lautner, as well as the visual effects that brought the supernatural world to life. The fanbase was vocal in their appreciation for how the film captured the spirit of the books, particularly in the final scenes, which offered closure to long-running character arcs. However, not all reviews were glowing. Some critics took issue with the film's pacing, while others found the plot twists, particularly the unexpected battle scene, to be jarring. The sudden shift in tone, from the peaceful resolution to the brutal, action-packed finale, left some viewers feeling unsettled. The film's ending, which brought an unexpected twist that turned out to be a vision of what could have happened rather than reality, was a source of debate. While it was met with excitement by some, others felt that it undermined the tension that had been built up throughout the entire story. Regardless, the overall reception was largely positive, with many praising the film's ability to deliver a satisfying conclusion to a long-running story. Ultimately, The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is a film filled with performances that resonate with audiences, backed by stellar visual effects, an emotionally charged narrative, and a cast that fully embodies the iconic characters. Whether through the tenderness of Bella and Edward's relationship, Jacob's emotional struggle, or the dark machinations of the Volturi, the actors in this final film created performances that left an indelible mark on fans and critics alike. As Breaking Dawn Part 2 solidified its place in film history, the cast's dedication to their roles contributed immensely to the film's success, ensuring its place as the definitive end to one of the most successful film franchises of the 21st century.